Kelly from Broken Carnivore. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I have been on the carnivore diet for almost a year now. And matter of fact, my carniversary date is July 26th, which is just a few weeks away. I am so super excited because not only that date is my carniversary anniversary, but also I get to go to my very first meetup in Montello, Wisconsin. I am looking forward to meet the great Dr. Kiltz. Dr. Tony Hepna, I believe, is going to be there. I believe Dr. Nelson's going to be there. I get to meet Carrie Mann, who is putting on This is a Healing Humanity. That's why I'm wearing this shirt. I want to be part of that as I share my journey, cooking advice, and tips that I learned over the last year. I am so super grateful to be part of this carnivore community. Over a year ago, I was dealing with chronic inflammation. I am a maintenance supervisor for apartment community. It's a lot of demanding, a lot of walking, a lot of going up downstairs, a lot of lifting, a lot of moving, especially this time of year in the summer. This is our turn season. This is where we turn a lot of the apartments. And when you're dealing with chronic inflammation like I did, especially in my right hip, my left knee, and my left foot, it makes you not want to move. It makes you not want to push on, and it makes you want to just say, I had enough. I don't know what to do. This is where I also was gaining half of my weight back from 4 years ago when I lost weight when I discovered keto carnivore. I also didn't know about the plant toxins when I was eating these so-called superfoods like spinach and beets and the nuts that has a lot of oxalates and lectins in it. And I was eating a lot of nut flour. I was eating a lot of, pecans, walnuts, almonds, and, a lot of spinach. And I wasn't aware that I was tormenting my body. Also, I wasn't sustainable on keto because I always fell off because I am also a former sugar addict. I love sugar. I love sweets. I eat that going out of style. I can't just have just one little piece of cake. I got to have the whole cake. And that's one reason why it wasn't sustainable. Also, when you go to the store and you see keto labeled, you're thinking, oh, keto, I can be able to have some breads, keto treats and snacks and stuff like that. But it's just a sell gimmick. And it's not really keto. It's packed full of seed oils. It was packed full of chemicals. It was packed full of carbs and, artificial sweeteners and sugars that we shouldn't be having in our body. And so not only that was hurting me. So as I'm approaching my 1 year now, after I started carnivore, I wish I learned this 4 years ago, even though keto helped me transition very easy, but I wish I went more carnivore 4 years ago because what I know now, today, I wish I knew back then. I would have avoided all those. If I knew about the plant toxins like I do now, and then I did 4 years ago, I wouldn't done this. I wouldn't grow a garden. I wouldn't make raised beds. I would have just went carnivore and healed my body. I didn't realize that by doing that, I was damaging my body. I was already damaging from the past. I was a former smoker. I used to smoke up to 2 packs of cigarettes. I used to chew a can of the Copenhagen chew, like you put in your mouth. That stuff is harmful. The nicotine in cigarettes, the nicotine in chewing tobacco, and even nicotine general in any of the non-smoking products or the non-chewing products and the vapes can harm your blood vessels. It caused my blood pressure 5, 6, 7 years ago to go from, a normal range. I used to always kind of had a little bit of a higher elevated, but it went from, just a little higher elevated, like in the high 20s, low 30s to bam, I was like 160 over 95, 170 over 82. I was damaging my heart. I was damaging my blood vessel. It caused me to have many functions that hindered my health. And I'm grateful that I turned around. I am very grateful and count myself lucky that I didn't get the cancer like in my mouth, especially that much chew. And now here we are, July 5th, 2025. I am now having almost non-existent chronic inflammation, most of it in my joints, especially my right hip and my knee, or not knee, but my left foot is very, very mild. Most of it now consists of strengthening my muscles, strengthening my skeletal muscles, and getting out there and just moving more, because at the last 2 years, I just did what I needed to do at work. I sat a lot. When I got home, I rested. Especially last year, I did more sitting at home than trying to enjoy the year. And if I knew what I know now, it would have been a lot different. But this is learning lessons. Not only the chronic inflammation is almost non-existent, I sleep a lot better. My clarity is a lot better. I can think better. I'm more alert. And not only that, I am almost 70 pounds down. So it is awesome to have this diet. I believe that this diet has been for us since the beginning of time. I do believe, if you believe in the Bible, you believe what it says, if you look at Genesis chapter 1, especially when he created Adam and Eve, the first humans, I believe everybody, every animal, every species that God created, we were vegan. We were eat plants. But that short period of time that was there, the world was perfect. There was no death. There was no deception, no deceiving, no sin, no fall. We honestly don't know the time frame about time that God created everything to the fall and the first sin that brought death and sorrow and all that sickness and all the defense mechanism and the poisons and the plants and stuff, and how the animals changed. We don't know. It could have been a matter of, I don't think it was a very long time, but we don't know. It could have been a matter of minutes, hours, days, months, maybe years. We don't know, but it's a very short time. And I believe once that changed, our gut might change. The animals that were herbivores eat the plants, and the ones, us, especially with us humans, and a lot of the other species with the single gut or single chamber guts like us that has one stomach, not multi-stomach, we were meant to eat meat, eat fat, animal base. And from there, I believe that from there on, that was our primary diet. And one of the proof is, I believe in chapter 4 of Genesis, we have two brothers. These are Adam and Eve's sons. These are the first two brothers. And one of them, I'm going to give it really simple. One of them is, he's a rancher. He's a farmer. He herds his animals. That's Abel. Cain, he was the one that tilled the ground. He wanted the plants, and they both wanted to give an offering to God. So Abel brought some of his best herd, best of his meat animals, and Cain brought some of his best crops. So they offered this up to God as a burnt offering. You know who God favored on that? It was Abel. He favored the aroma of the cooked meat over the cooked plants. That's why Cain got jealous and got mad, and he got angry with his brother, and he killed him because he was jealous. He was envious because God favored that. That was one part that I believe that we were. Another count is after the flood, and when Noah and his family got off the ark, God said that you can eat of animals, you can of the plants. So we kind of have that omnivore type stomach, but we thrive better on fatty meat, especially fatty red meat, beef, lamb, venison, buffalo, whatever that ruminant animal, that's all red meat, but fattier the better. And if you eat leaner cuts of the red meat, you need to put extra fat in it somehow. But also, I believe that even though I'm not big fan of raw ground beef or ground beef that's on the rare side, I like my ground beef more cooked. Now, if it's a burger patty where you make a big burger patty, a little pink, I don't mind. I just can't stand the texture of the more raw meat. So, but steak, I have ate a little bit of raw steak where I salt it down, let it season, a little bit of a dry brine in the fridge, and I cut them up, and it was delicious. I now do more of a black and blue rare on my steaks. I like a little more rare on my chuck roast. So I think, you get more nutrients because when you do cook through, it does alter that a little bit. So you're getting a lot of those nutrients that you wouldn't get if it's cooked all the way through. And also with the more, if more of the fat, if you eat a lot more fat, especially let's say rendered fat, you tend to have bathroom issues. So it is a lifelong journey. This is not really a diet to me. It's a lifestyle change. I had to change everything. And, do I still have when I want something sweet in mind? Do I miss having breads and carbs and stuff? Absolutely, I do. I miss that. I miss a lot of that stuff. But I also know if I go back to eating that stuff, I will reverse everything that I healed. Plus, I would gain my weight because it would crash my metabolism. Because when my metabolism crashed, when I go backwards, it crashes and I gain weight faster than I can lose it. So that is the one thing about this carnivore diet. I'm more sustainable on it. And it has so many healing municipals. There's many people out there that are healing from type 2 diabetes, chronic inflammation like I am. A lot of people lost weight. People reverse chronic heart failure or congestive heart failure. There's many people that had skin autoimmune diseases where they had rashes on their skin, and just eating carnivore and just the simplest things, they were healing themselves. There's many out there. When I started getting tired of this pain, I kind of started getting back into researching it. And one of the channels that I discovered, and I really love this channel, he promotes this. It's Kerry Mann from Homestead How. He healed himself. And I thought, in the beginning, as I'm going through all this chronic inflammation stuff, I'm still thinking, going all carnivore, crazy. One of my first videos that I actually come across was, besides Dr. Barry and Nisha and Kelly Hogan a few years ago, he was one of my first channels that I discovered when I typed in carnivore after I was watching Dr. Barry. And I was watching this man, and he was testifying how he healed his chronic inflammation, his gout, type 2 diabetes. He was depressed. He had congestive heart failure. He had all this, and he was holding a box of pills that he was taking that was prescribed to him, and he just tossed them out. And I'm like, how is just eating meat heal you? So as I do, I'm like, I want to know more about this. So as I go, I'm watching more of his videos, and then come across other ones. And I come across a great YouTuber that she's a nutritionist, and her name is Lily Kane. She lives in St. Louis. She lives in the same state I do. And she healed herself by animal-based diet. And not only that, she promotes that. And she has great theology, great ideas from her experiences that she wants to bring out. And I'm like, I want more of this. I want more of this. I want to know more. And I come back across a Kerry Mann video. When you see someone says, I don't know what to do. I'm going to die. I weigh over 700 pounds. And he was reaching out to Carrie. And his name is Bill Knott. And if you haven't seen Bill Knott on YouTube, go to his channel. Go to Bill and Daisy in Alaska. Incredible story, incredible journey. He started at 700 pounds. He reached out to Carrie Mann. Carrie Mann has him on this documentary. A man that's 700 pounds went carnivore. He lost over 300 pounds. He is over 2 years, I think almost 3 years in carnivore. He lost over 300 pounds. He went from being a prison in this body that he was in his home to he's out. And he's going to be going to Tampa this fall to some kind of convention. And that's incredible. He was healing. Not only that, he was losing weight. It's incredible. And so it's like, you know what? If he's on a carnivore diet, and you don't have to calorie deficit or anything. If he can eat this, I can do this. So I continued. And then there was what made me lead to carnivore, because I had not only that, day before, I had enough. On July 26th, I was going to work. We had a lot to do. I had to take care of strip of floor. I had to take care of baseboards and stuff. I don't know how I'm going to get this done. I am tired of this. So I talked to my manager. I said, I am hurting so bad. I'm inflamed. I can't hardly walk or nothing. So what I did was I'm like, I'm going to try to push it through, which I'm glad I pushed it through, and I made it through the day, and it helped a little bit. But I said, if carnivore lifestyle, this diet changed somebody's health on just chronic inflammation, depression, congestive heart failure, reverse people's type 2 diabetes, skins, rashes, and not only that, they lost a ton of weight, I'm done. I went. I said, I was already keto. I might as well go over to carnivore. It's an easy transition, because the one thing is, if you do start keto, it is a good tool that you can transition to carnivore. And from that day, after that, I noticed some things just changing. Within a week, the same apartment that I had to work to get this floor strip, put new baseboards in. I normally would have took me 2 days because of the inflammation and stuff. I had the baseboards in the entire apartment, caulked in place, ready for paint and ready for the cleaners, ready for a move-in within 5 hours from time I started. I noticed the inflammation. Now, the inflammation and stuff wasn't fully 100% because, the body takes a while. I noticed when I started sleeping better. I was asking my daughter, when I fell asleep, hey, did you notice that, I took a nap? Did you notice that I, snored? She said, no. I noticed that the inflammation, the whole body was just healing. Come to October, I was under 300 pounds. I started July 26th. I was 338.6. I record everything I do daily. And when I weigh, I record that. July 26th, I was 338 pounds. Today, which is Saturday, July 5th, I am down to 271.6. I was below, when I went to the doctor, I was below 300. It was my goal. And I said, you know what? If it doesn't make it, that's fine. But I walked in there, I was 298. My blood pressure was dropped. I could have stopped the blood pressure medicine, but I decided, let's go to 2.5 milligrams, which he said that'd be better. Cut it in half. And I continued, and I started losing weight. And I went on in December, I went on my 4th mission trip build back to Acuna, Mexico. I was, still, I had pain because I have other issues like imbalance. My feet, I have overpronation. I have a high arch on one foot, a low or almost no arch on the other. And a lot of it still works. But the thing is, I didn't even notice and I had heavy flare. Most of it was just stiffness. But I didn't have no problem. I felt great. It felt good. I had more compassion on this build than I did the one in June or May of 2024, my third build. And as I went, I started losing more weight. I went to see my heart doctor, and he noticing that he's noticing the abnormality on the EKG, and he noticing on the last one he recommended a echocardiogram. I still need to go do a CAC score. I want to know where my calcium hardness score is. So I still got to do that, but I went ahead and I said, yeah, if there's something done, because the thing is the carnivore diet's not damaging my heart. The cholesterol the cholesterol my body is producing because I'm getting the proper nutrition, it's not causing that. It's not causing. If I have any heart issues, it's from the past, from the oxalants, from the plant toxins, from me neglecting my body, damaging, poisoning from smoking, chewing tobacco. I did a little vape. And the sugar and the poor metabolism or metabolic health, I know that can damage the heart. The diet, the carnivore diet's not the cause. It was from all the damage that I done to my heart or my blood vessels. So I got the echocardiogram. I got the results back, and it was very good. He says everything appeared to be normal, and you have on your left ventricle ejection fraction of 63%. Says looks good. I'll see you in 2 years. I don't know what my ejection fraction was before the carnivore diet or before keto. And when I smoked and I chewed, when I had narrowing my blood vessels and damaging my cardiovascular and my veins from this poison, I'm surprised that I'm still here sharing this. So the carnivore lifestyle, I don't consider it a diet. I consider it a lifestyle change. And now I'm going to go as May. I was going to my daughter's softball game, and I was telling my mom, I'm starting to feel younger. And I noticing that last year, she was out walking me. She's 76 years old this year. She has 2 knee replacements, and one knee was a second replacement. They had to cut. She has a physical short leg. She has a pin going down. And last year, this woman was out walking me. I remember when I was young, this woman could walk. I could never keep up with her. This woman grew up on a farm. She worked hard. She worked hard her whole life on the farm. She even provided for the family, and she was well known in the factory that she worked at, not only a leader, an employee, but a supervisor too. And she outwalked me last year. I shouldn't be outwalked by a 75-year-old woman. Now she's 76. I was going up an incline to the parking lot from the fields, and I had no problem. I was out walking her. And I know that she, I'm trying, no matter what, encourage, because I'm not going to tell you or her or anybody, my kids, that you need to go to carnivore. It is their choice. I just want to be here to share my journey and how I feel and how well that the lifestyle journey it is. And I want to share with you my testimony and how amazing this diet, this lifestyle, how it can heal. Like I can eat and not be brain fogged or comatose like I would if I ate carbs. I can go to a family get together where everybody, full of carbs and sugars and desserts and, stuff like that. Before I would go there and I'd be comatose and I would sleep. When I eat just meat, I'm fully alert and I can enjoy the family get together. So this diet, this is a diet that I don't consider a diet. I consider a journey. And I know my mom, I'm hoping that she's being more, on it. And I give her some helpful tips and stuff like that. And, to make sure when she is around others, make sure you eat meat, make sure you watch out what they put in her, because seed oils is one of the most toxic oils out there that we were fed saying that these are heart healthy, and they're not. This, canola oil was invented in Canada to be an engine lubricant for steam locomotives back in the day. But somehow it was sold as heart healthy cooking oil. And this is something that I can put in my tractor, heat it up, have a heated tank, heat it up, run my tractor off as diesel fuel. And we put this in our mouth. I damaged that from that. And this is why the poison, we went from eating an ancestral single whole foods diet, even growing up, the people growing up, they may have had they come of the day of the processed foods like candy bars and cookies and stuff like that. But everything was different then. They were animal based. They were made with real sugar and stuff like that. And people didn't eat as much. It was more of a treat because it was expensive. But somehow we had a president in the late 50s had a massive heart attack, and we got to do something. We have a problem here. We have an epidemic here with heart disease. They didn't want to bother to say that not only had a high stressful job and a poor diet, he also smoked 4 packs of cigarettes. And so that led to research, and the seven country study, which it was picked and choose from what countries so in lead that saturated fat, animal-based saturated fats like butter, ghee, beef tallow, rendered lard, and duck fat, any healthy saturated fat that was ancestral based was unhealthy, and that's what's causing this issue. So we went that. Not only that, we had the big food companies sold all this stuff saying that we need to go to this. And as time goes, I'm one of the kids that was born in the very late 70s. I grew up as a kid in the 80s. I gained weight in the 80s. And I was eating a lot of this stuff. Not only that, going to the 90s. I'm in 10th grade, 1994. I was in 10th grade. I am at that size now where I was in 10th grade. And as I got older, I got bigger and bigger. At one time, I weighed 400 pounds 20 years ago. And I did lose the weight, but, we did the calorie deficit, did this, did that. I also had varicose veins, got that. It healed. My metabolism went up, but I could never get below 315. There's a few times I got below 300, but I gained it right back. And then I started gaining back, in 20, back and forth. I would go back and forth. And then in 2020, I was 380 some pounds. I was almost back to 400. And I said, enough is enough. I said, enough with this sugar. So I decided to no added sugar, but not understanding that breads, pasta, anything is made with wheat, grains, was all carbs. I just took away added sugar. I started drinking my tea unsweet. If I can drink my coffee black and plain, I can drink tea up plain. I ditched the diet soda, but I did lose probably 15 pounds. I also went back to see my doctor. I wanted to be on this medicine. I was on it before. It's called phentermine. I'm going to tell you the truth. If you're thinking about any drugs or any prescription weight loss stuff, I recommend to stay away from it, because I did it and I did lose some weight. I did it through keto when I did keto, but it also, your body gets immune to it, and also it's not effective. Plus it's poison. I think that's part of my issue why keto wasn't sustainable, besides being a former sugar addict. I did lose 15 pounds, but when I accidentally discovered Dr. Berry, that's where I changed. I wish I went carnivore, but I'm glad that I got the keto experience, got that, because it was an easy transition over to carnivore. So that is my testimony where I'm at. I am grateful and to share this. And if you like this content, you like hearing my testimony, and you want more of it, and you think it's helpful and useful, can you do me a favor? Please hit that like button. comment, even if where you're from, even though you said hi. I'd be glad to share more. I'd be glad to help you if you need the help. Um, because one thing about it is, if you're carnivores, a lot of times you're going to be alone. Your family's not going to be as supportive. Your friends are not going to be supportive. They're going to want to get you to veer away. Oh, no, that's wrong. You're going to die and stuff. What's very important is a community, and I love this carnivore community, and there's many support communities out there. Dr. Barry's got one, and I think Proper Human Diet. I'm part of Healing Humanity, and it's about $30 a month, and there's a great support. Everybody there is very supportive. If you have questions, they will answer. They will help you. If not, there's experts there and doctors that will help you. I'm also part, and if $30 a month is too much, there's other great ones I'm part of. I'm part of Carnivore for Christ. It's free. Join it. I'm also part of Carnivore Quest community on Facebook. Larry and Cassie Berquist. They have a good YouTube channel. Go watch them, watch their journey, share them, their ups and downs, their struggles. They're real, and they're not afraid to show the struggles, because food addiction, sugar addiction, carbs, all that is real. And there's people that, even though they go on carnivore, they struggle. And Larry and Cassie is great to share that. Kip Moore, he used to be Carnivore Kip, but Kip Moore, watch his channel. I hadn't seen some videos lately, but he shares, and he's not afraid to share his story and share his journey and share his struggles. And those are real. And go to those communities. It's free. And you know what? I'm another part of a community, and they have a call at 6 a.m. live meetup with Dr. Kiltz, Dr. Nelson, Alia Wells, and a guest speaker. I have been on it. It's great, and was an honor to be be a guest speaker or get on there and share my testimony and share this. But also there's their community called Kiltz Health. Awesome community, awesome people there. And you know what? It's free. It's free. Go there. Those communities. Community is very important. Besides nutrition, community is very important. You got to have this support and accountability. That's the only way we're going to thrive out there, is to be held accountable to each other and support each other. That's why at the end of my channel, I always say, I have to think about this. Wow, I have a brain fart. It's basically, we need to be supportive. Okay, I got it now. Let's be kind, be positive, have a good attitude, and encourage and support one another. I always put that at the end of my channel, and that's why you want to be there, no matter what the struggles is. Struggles are real. This world's unfair. So as I end this video, we also have other struggles in life. Life is not fair, and you know what? I have a message, and this is because I have a great Savior. His name is Jesus. He was God in the flesh. He robed himself in the flesh, come to earth to live the perfect life. He took on what we deserve. We don't deserve to go to heaven. We don't deserve what we have. We deserve God's wrath, all of hell, because we are fallen. We have all sinned. We have fallen short of glory of God. But God in the flesh, Jesus, came to earth, lived this perfect life. He did not have one sin in him. He was arrested. He was beaten to almost unrecognizable, betrayed, denied, and even was put on the cross. He was nailed to the cross, and he died. He was buried. But the beautiful thing is, that tomb is empty. He's alive. He has ascended back into heaven, sent his helper to guide us, help us, convict us, to teach us whatever it is, so we can be men and women of God, so that we can be obedient to him in every good work we do, every work that we do for him, to share the gospel. And the beautiful thing is, that gift is free. It is free. And all you got to do is just believe that God came down in the flesh. He believed he lived a perfect life. He died for you. And all you got to do is to receive it, accept it, surrender to him, and repent and give your life over and let him guide you through the Holy Spirit. Let him, as Romans 12:1-2 says, we need to be renewed by transforming in our minds. Let us renew daily. I'm not perfect because I don't have the verse in it, but that's basically the basics of it. Be renewed. Let him guide your life. That's why, even though I have unfair days and things I don't understand, but the one thing is that I am much happier today because I have not only Jesus in my life, Jesus is my King of Kings, Lord of Lords, but also he showed me that a way to live, a way to have proper nutrition. That's a carnivore diet. He led me to that. I am so grateful. Y'all have a great day. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your family. And most of all, eat fatty meat. God bless you all.